Okay, I want to welcome everybody to today's webinar on cold market recruiting. This is essentially what I call your cold market recruiting blueprint. We're going to be going through some information here today briefly on how you can really structure your business in an effective way to maximize it. And really there's three main areas of your business that you need to really be focused on, and we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about time management, lead management, and cash flow management. So let's start with lead management. You know, most people are not acting quickly on the leads. Instead, they're waiting for the leads to become producing agents through our automation, through our systems. Most people will think that the answer, when they're not getting new recruits and signups, they think the answer is to buy more leads, when actually the solution is more efficient use of the leads you already have and to engage those leads as people, as real human beings, as opposed to just buying more leads. You engage the people and you use our system to be more efficient. So we're going to be talking about, again, about managing your business through these three main areas. So of course, there's lead management and there's also time management. Time management is probably the easiest thing to not be structured on. But when you think about time management, remember this: every agent in your business is going to be in one of three areas or funnels at any one time. So we're going to talk about those funnels today. Most people are investing the majority of their time in the wrong funnels. They're focused on the wrong people. They're spending their time in the wrong place. And in this webinar today, you're going to learn how to build a six-figure income working less than 40 hours per week. So you're going to have efficient time management if you follow this process. And then the third piece after lead management and time management is cash flow management. Your business should be producing revenue every day, starting right now. So that means that you have to have a plan in place for daily income in your business. Most people are not getting daily income. And what that does is it puts you in a desperate state because you're hoping for overrides from your sales team instead of being in a powerful state or a powerful posture where you're earning income every single day from your business. And this really illustrates that. You know, are you a sales manager or are you a business owner? As a sales manager, your job would be to interview and recruit salespeople, and then really you're focused on their production. You're managing people, and you're trying to get more production out of people individually. But if you look at your business in terms of being a business owner, if you have a business, you have to get money into the cash register every single day. You can't wait for some day in the future to earn income. So you have to have daily cash flow management. You have to have money coming into your business every single day. So those are the three areas that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about time management, lead management, cash flow management throughout this webinar. And I mentioned that when you're talking about managing your leads are always in one of three funnels. So let's talk about those three funnels first. And the first funnel is the prospect funnel. Now, this is something that, as I go through it, is all going to be very familiar to you. Unless you're absolutely brand new right now, this is not new information. It's just organized in a way that will help you to think about where you're investing your time, your resources, your energy, and are you investing in the right places in your business. Hopefully this webinar will help you to maybe for the first time have a brand new focus on operating as a business owner instead of operating it in a reactive way. So the first funnel is the prospect funnel. And we can take a look at this funnel. It'll certainly be something you've seen before. As we go through the funnel from left to right, these are the titles of statuses in your AMS prospect. Lead, sent to site, interview, evaluation, and agent. Now we talked about time management. 80% of your time should be spent in this funnel and will be if you're following this system. The second funnel is your agent funnel. And in the agent funnel, again, these are statuses that are probably very familiar to you. And we're going to break them down. I'm just going quickly through an introduction of the funnels here, but I'm going to break these funnels down for you. But again, from left to right, We start with an agent. That agent begins their new agent training, completes their new agent training, becomes a member of Legal Shield, gets the service, gets vested, and then becomes an associate when they make their first sale. So that's the agent funnel. And you should be spending about 15% of your time with the people in this funnel. So again, on time management, we have to make sure that we're not spending time in the wrong funnel. Most people are spending 80% of their time in this funnel and not spending 80% of their time prospecting and working with people to get them through the process of becoming an agent. And the reason you can spend less time here is because we have automation, we have systems here. We're going to talk more about those systems. And then the third funnel is the associate funnel. And the associate funnel is where we have the, from left to right, we have, and not every step is on this, but just to give you a concept, the funnel here is really the process of going up through the compensation plan. Associate, senior associate, manager, senior manager, director, senior director, executive director, and then what we at HRMC always call a solid ED, or someone that is executive director qualifying by the 15th of the month, not waiting until the end of the month, not being somebody that is struggling at the last minute. It's midnight and they're trying to put in 1 or 2 or 3 sales. They're consistently executive director, and they're hitting that early in the month, not at the end of the month. And by the 15th is what we consider a solid ED. And you should be spending about 5% of your time with the people in this group, the folks in your team that are already Legal Shield associates. So to get to proper time management, cash flow management, and lead management, we have to talk about persuasion. And we're going to talk about ethically persuading somebody to take action. And when I say ethically, what I mean is we never persuade someone to take action if it isn't in their best interest, because that isn't ethical, and quite frankly, it's a waste of your time. So we're going to use a concept here from what's known as straight line persuasion. Now, this is a sales process. This is used by salespeople. This is used by salespeople all over the country, straight line persuasion, to navigate through a sales process. We're going to use it for recruiting, and this is something that will help you to stay completely focused and to treat your business like a business. So with straight line persuasion, first of all, you're a professional, and you have to have an air of professionalism. You're an authority. When you contact people, you have to be, in their mind, an authority, and you have to always remain in control. So as you go through this webinar today, you're going to learn about being a professional, being the authority, having a posture of authority, and being in control of these conversations that you're going to have with prospects, agents, and associates. And as we mentioned at the top when I was going through the funnels, here's another look at the first funnel. This is really where we're going to start, is in this prospect funnel, where someone is going from lead to going and watching the video. And I'm going to go through these steps here for you, but let's talk about straight line persuasion. And this graphic you see on the screen right now is all about understanding the concept of making sure that whatever you do only serves to move you forward in the process with your lead, with your prospect, with the person. So if somebody is a lead, and this graphic of straight line shows you what is the process. Somebody that is a lead must become a sent to site, meaning that they have been opted into the system and that they're going to go and watch the overview video, the career video. The dotted lines at the top and the bottom of the screen represent the barriers that you're trying to keep the conversation inside of these lines. So ask yourself this: when you're having a conversation with somebody that is a lead that hasn't yet opted into the system, that hasn't gone and watched the video, how much time are you spending with that person on the telephone? Are you staying within the lines? Are you staying within control, being a professional? Because being a professional, being in control of the conversation, being an authority means that you know where you're going with the conversation. It means that you know who you're on the phone with. You're on the phone with a lead that has yet to see any of the information, and that you know what your goal is, which is to get them to opt in and go and watch the career overview. Your goal is not to have conversations or spend 30 minutes on the phone with somebody. I know that you might think of that as rapport building, but it's not. Actually, what you want to do is you want to, as a professional, as a recruiter, as a business owner, you build rapport and you ask questions, but you never allow the prospect to force you outside of the straight line. And so as people start to veer off and they want to have a conversation about other things, or they start to ask you questions, a professional doesn't always answer the question. For example, if you're talking to someone that's a lead and they say, well, tell me what it is, that doesn't mean that you have to go into a presentation. You don't have to present our opportunity, and you should not, because that's not effective time management or lead management. Your job is to direct somebody to the information. So as an authority, you can speak with authority and confidence to say that we have a recruiting process, and the first step in our process is for you to review the information on our career site. And make sure, again, that you keep people within these lines, and you're always being professional, and you're always being courteous, and every once in a while, and this is going to be the rarest of occasion, but every once in a while, somebody won't go with the flow. They will just absolutely refuse. And again, as a professional, you know that your time is valuable, that your leads are valuable, that your resources are valuable, and you're not going to spend any time trying to overcome this. You simply just get this person off the telephone and just make them inactive in your system. But remember that your goal here in this first step in the straight line system is to get your lead converted to a sent to site, to make sure that you know what your goal is in this telephone call. Your goal is not to sell someone a membership or to do a presentation. Your goal is to get them opted into the system and to watch the video. So remember, lead status. They've been emailed by our system, but they didn't opt in. So maybe they didn't see the email at all, and they probably didn't. Your phone call is going to be the first thing that triggers them to the fact that we even want to talk with them. And we know they've not seen the overview video. So your conversation can only serve to get them to that step, to watch the overview. And make sure you have them opt in, because that way we can track their activity. You would never give somebody the direct link to your career site. I want to make that clear. When you're on the phone with somebody that hasn't opted into the system, if you want to stay efficient, if you want to have time management, lead management, and cash flow management, then you stay on the system. And when they opt in, when they follow the opt-in procedure, and there's an opt-in script in your AMS, when they click that link and put in their email address and opt into our system, their status is changed automatically by the system to sent to site. So our system is tracking them for you. You can see that the status changes, and they're being redirected to the career site so that they can go on to the career overview. Remember, you're keeping them on the system. And as we go on through this funnel, as we're managing the lead, the next step is sent to site. And it's the same thing we just talked about. You're always staying on the straight line, knowing where you're going. When you're talking to someone that is at sent to site status, you only want to talk to them about moving forward and getting to the point of scheduling an interview. So what is somebody that's sent to site status, and why do you need to have a conversation with this person? Well, sent to site doesn't mean that they watch the video. It just means that they opted in. So you want to use the sent to site script in your AMS to follow up and move them down the line to the next step, which is to have them watch the overview video and schedule an interview. This is something that I learned, really the hard way. I always assumed that once somebody went sent to site status, that they did watch the video and they simply weren't interested. Well, I learned by calling my sent to site leads that most of those folks, even though they've opted in, just simply never took the time to go and watch the overview video. So if you want to have efficient lead management, if you want to get more results from the leads you have instead of just buying more leads, then follow up with your leads that are sent to site as well. And know where you're going with that conversation. Follow the script, the sent to site script, and make sure you are staying on the straight line. The next step is the interview request, and you want to act fast and get people scheduled. So interview requests come in a variety of different ways. The way we would all like it to be is that they fill out the interview request form on your career site. That is the simplest way, because that will change their status in the AMS prospect system automatically to an interview status. But very often people will call you back or they'll email you back indicating that they've been through the overview, they're excited, and they'd like to schedule an interview. And remember to go into your prospect field and change that person from sent to site status to interview status immediately to keep on track and to stay organized if they contact you outside of filling out the interview request form. Now, if they fill out the interview request form, the system will automatically reflag them as an interview, will email out to you and log for you also that interview request form. But again, very often people will call you, they'll text you, they'll email you to let you know that they want to schedule an interview. And it's not necessary to force them back to the career site to fill out an interview request form. Just change their status to interview so that you can stay organized, and then schedule them for an interview. And as it says on the screen, remember, they're excited about our products, our company, and our opportunity right now. So you have to get them while they're hot. You have to understand that people are doing this in bulk. They're looking at information from many companies. They're looking at many opportunities. They're filling out a lot of forms. So often it's whoever gets back to them first that's going to recruit them. And we want to make sure that's you. And when I say that, I don't mean somebody else from HRMC, somebody else in our company. I mean, they're filling out opportunity forms and they're looking at stuff all over the place. Somebody that's in the market is in the market. And so you want to rise to the top of the noise by getting back to them professionally, quickly, being an authority, and staying on track and keeping them on the process. So you want to get right to that interview, do an interview, use the interview script in the AMS scripts. And remember, and we're going to spend a couple minutes on this, just like we talked about before, there's a straight line from the interview to them becoming an agent. So as you're following the interview script and you're talking and asking questions and letting them talk, remember, keep them inside the lines. If they start talking about their hobbies and interests, that's great, but understand where you're going. You're not building rapport by spending 45 minutes on the phone with somebody talking about their whole life story. You're building rapport by knowing how to move them forward in our process. And again, you're going to have a lot of opportunities with people to break bread, to learn each other's stories, to get deeper involved. But you have to protect and manage your time. Your time is part of your business. You have to manage your leads effectively. And you have to manage your cash flow. And you're going to see how cash flow plays a big part in this as we move forward into the second funnel. But again, stay inside of the straight line system, and that's how you persuade people to move forward. Now, we talked about ethical persuasion, getting somebody to do something they should do, helping them to not stall, to not waste time. That's what ethical persuasion is in our business. We don't want to waste our time with people that are not interested. We don't want to talk somebody in to moving through our funnel that isn't excited about what we do. But our system is so refined, the filters in place allow you to really only spend time with people that are over the moon excited, that can't wait to get started, that want more information about how they can be a part of what we do. And because of that, you're in a great position here to persuade people ethically, to help them move forward. But most folks struggle with their leads, struggle with interviews because they don't know what the goal of the step is. They don't understand the goal of the interview is to get somebody set up as an agent. And it's really the only goal. And that moves us into the second funnel, which is the agent funnel. And so I spent a lot of time on that first funnel, but that's where you're going to spend the bulk of your time. 80% of your time is spent with people that are not yet agents and getting them through this process and into our agent access back office. So let's take a look at that agent funnel again, just briefly. And the first step is to get them to become an agent, to get them to start the training. So we always walk them through creating their agent account over the phone and make sure that they start the training while we have them on the phone. We never leave any of this to chance. We make sure that the video is playing, that they know that they need to check the completed box next to each video so that when they get to the end of a section that they'll be able to take their quiz. We want them to be in a position where they feel empowered to start their training, because the training is going to do a lot of the work for you. The reason that you spend 15% of your time with agents and 80% of your time with prospects is because the automation and the motivation here is much clearer. We have a lot more automation for you to use with agents. And the motivation of the agent is clear. They want to get started. They are the most motivated to go through our system and to get started earning income. So again, make sure as you get somebody set up as an agent that you're getting them set up with the idea of getting them to start and complete their agent training. Never get them off the phone, never let them off the phone until their agent account is set up and that we know that they've started the training by watching the first video and checking the completed box to the right. And then we keep them on this straight line and only this straight line until they complete the training. That's our focus, is to get 100% of our agents to start the training, and knowing that not everybody's going to finish the training. So how do we move people down the straight line as they're going through the training? Well, when they complete their first section of training, we acknowledge it. You're going to get an email from the system letting you know that somebody completed the first section. Of course, in your AMS in the back office, in your AMS, you can watch as people process each video section. You can watch in real time as they watch the videos. So you know that they're proceeding through the videos, but make absolutely sure you acknowledge when they complete the first section and complete the first quiz, and you'll get a notification about that. You can hit reply on that notification, send a nice little message back, or you can send a text. Just make sure you're congratulating them and acknowledging them that you know that they know they completed the first section. Also acknowledge their certification. When they complete the second section, they're now Harvard Risk Management certified. They've completed the next step in your funnel in this process. So now they're certified. They've completed both quizzes. You can reach out to them to schedule a game plan call for as soon as possible. Remember, time is of the essence. They're excited. They have a lot more knowledge now. They're probably more excited about our opportunity right now than they were during the interview process. And that is a great position to be in, and you want to get to them while they're white hot about everything that they just learned. Remember, not everybody's going to complete the training. So you want to work with the people that are willing and appreciate that there will be some fall off. Only 70% of the people that start the training complete the training. You're going to lose 30% right there, which is why we're always recruiting and why we're spending 80% of our time working with people to get them into the agent process, so that we're never in a position where we have folks that are not finishing the training and there's nothing else coming down the pipeline from the prospect side. Keep in mind also that you're staying on the straight line. As you are moving forward and getting them to complete the new agent training, you know what the next step is. It's for them to become a member. Now, the great thing is that we have put a button into the new agent training that allows the agent to actually sign up for their membership during the training. Now, they've heard a tremendous amount about the value of the membership, and a lot of folks are just signing up themselves. They're really taking care of this without you having to talk about it. But the truth is, it is our job to talk about getting the membership, to make sure that we get them their membership. And I'm going to talk about that in terms of cash flow management. Because remember, at the beginning of this, we talked about the 3 areas of your business that you have to be aware of and conscious of, and that's your time management, your lead management, and your cash flow management. Now we're going to get into cash flow. Remember that your agents, for the most part, are going to purchase the $39.90 membership. And here's just an example of your commission, because you are the person that gets credit for that sale when your agent purchases their membership. At the director level, that's a $190 commission. At senior director, that's $230. At executive director, $280 on a single sale. So take a look at this, and again, we're talking about a business, not a sales manager job, but a business that you own that needs daily cash flow. So if you marketed one plan a day to your agents that were coming through the funnel. Now, listen, when I got here, I had had the service for 10 years, so you couldn't market me a membership. And, once in a while that happens, but most people had never heard of the service and are over the moon excited about it when they learn about it through our recruiting process, and they want the plan. They want a membership. You're not selling them a membership, you're really just telling them how they should sign up for it and that it's time. Most people are, if they didn't buy a membership during the training, they're really, during the game plan or during your next conversation, are expecting you to talk to them about getting the membership. It doesn't make sense for you to apologize for it or not be excited about it, because they're excited about it. And I think too often we as recruiters feel like we can't be excited about them getting their membership, but we want them to get their membership. This represents your cash flow early on in your business. Now, there will come a time, we're going to talk more about cash flow management and the big picture, earning a six-figure income from the overrides on your sales team. But right now, especially if you're brand new at building your team, you don't have any overrides. But that is not okay. You can't just run a business with no income. You need to have daily money in the cash register. And just look at some of these examples. 1 membership a day, meaning as your new agents complete training, just 1 agent per day completing training and signing up for a membership is $45,000 a year. Now, this is interesting. I want to point this out to you. I'm spending some time on this slide because as I travel around the country and I take calls all the time and I train at events, people are always saying to me that if they could just earn X amount of dollars, they could quit their job and focus on their business full time. And that's what the goal is of a lot of people. That was my goal early on, was to get my job behind me so I could focus full time on building my business. And the truth is that the amount of money that most people need to focus full time on their business is less than $45,000 a year. That means that one or both of the members of the household could quit their jobs and stay home and build their businesses to a higher level. But see, we often are so focused on the large amount of money at some distant point in the future, where we say we're going to build a team that earns us a six-figure override income, and we neglect the daily money that's available to us today. That right now at the director level, you could have a business that is generating for you daily cash flow of $190 a day. What if you recruited in just slightly more volume? What if you focused a little bit more on your business and you got to the point where you have 2 agents per day? 2 agents per day getting to the point where they've completed their training and they're signing up for their membership. Now, it probably won't work out exactly like that. Like maybe it'll be 4 on Monday and none on Tuesday and then 4 on Wednesday. But you get my point. An average of 2 a day. That's 10 plans a week, 40 plans per month. In that example, we can't even talk about director because you'll be qualifying as a senior director every month just on your own plan production, marketing plans just to your agents. And isn't that interesting that without going out and opening groups, without leaving your office or your dining room table, that you could have a business that pays a 6-figure income before we start to calculate in any overrides from your sales team? $110,000 a year by marketing 2 plans per day to your agents that are completing the training. Isn't that interesting? And, we don't talk about this cash flow enough, because this is what happens is people are so focused on overrides, they'll recruit 3 or 4 or 5 agents, and those agents aren't producing right away, or they get fast start qualified, but then they slow down for a little bit. Or they're really focused on group sales and they take 30 or 60 days to really ramp up. And in that time, the recruiter is frustrated. They're in a position of weakness and they're feeling like there's no money coming in. And they're putting pressure on their new agents to go sell instead of putting pressure on themselves in an appropriate way to generate daily cash flow from their business. Here's another thing people say to me. They say, well, I want to build a team, but I need money now. I want to build a team, but I need money now, so I need to go open groups. I want to build a team, but I need money now, so I need to go find people that can buy a membership from me. When they don't understand that they're stepping over big, significant dollars, either 1 or 2 sales a day, $45,000 a year, 1 sale a day. And this is just 5 days a week. This is not a 7 days a week program. 1 plan per day. How long does it take to do that? And we'll look at the numbers. Let's just kind of go along and we'll look a little bit more at the numbers. But remember this, they're excited about the membership. That's why they're excited about the opportunity. They're not excited about marketing the service, but they're lukewarm on the service. That doesn't make any sense. people that go through our process want the membership. And if they don't buy the membership, use it, believe in it, they're not going to sell it. Now, 1 out of 100 people that go through the training are probably going to say to you, hey, listen, I'm still not going to buy it. And that's fine, because it's not that important to you that 1 out of 100 buys the plan. But the problem is that most people on this webinar right now are acting as if all 100 of the next 100 people are going to say they don't want to buy the plan, when it's really 1 out of 100 that will push back on that. The other 99 want the plan, and we are either not asking them to purchase it, so they're not getting it, so they're getting confused about the motivation. Like, they're saying, why am I so excited about it if the person who was recruiting me isn't excited enough to actually offer it to me? They're saying to themselves, well, maybe there's something I'm missing. I should be thinking more about this, because they're not giving me a clear path to purchase it. Well, here's another interesting thing that might be happening, is that people in your funnel are coming through, they're deciding for a variety of reasons that it's not the right time for them to join the opportunity or engage the opportunity, but because you never offered them the membership, they get it from somebody else 6 months or 6 years later, and you were the one that educated them about the plan in the first place. Listen, we're going to talk about how many people do and do not engage in the actual business, but I can tell you this, there are hundreds of people that have joined as members in my business, that have purchased memberships from me, that came through this recruiting funnel and just didn't engage in the business. It wasn't the right opportunity, it wasn't the right time, but I cash flowed my business in an ethical way because they love the membership. They would never cancel it. They use it all the time. They're just not engaged in the business. So don't step over this huge daily cash flow in your business. Now, sometimes you have to offer an incentive. Remember, this is about ethical persuasion, getting somebody to do something that they want to do and should do, but maybe getting them to do it today instead of putting it off. For example, sometimes folks are a little lean on money, and they'll say to you, well, yeah, I do want to get my membership, but there's other things I want to get first. I want to get a new agent starter kit, or I want to get business cards, or I want to get going on building my team, so I need to order resume leads. Well, offer an incentive to close the membership sale. Very often I'll say to a person that has a concern like that, well, listen, why don't you let me get you a starter kit? As long as you're getting the membership, get that done today, and I'll order you a starter kit right now. That's a great incentive. It's an appropriate incentive, because you're going to make, between, again, in those examples we're talking about, $190, $230, $280, and you could certainly invest in someone in your team appropriately, $30 or $65 for some business cards, or get them set up with some resume leads. But always remembering, staying inside of the straight lines. Your goal is to get somebody that completed the training to get their membership. That cash flows your business. That helps them get locked in to the opportunity deeper. Now they have the service, they can use it, talk about how they've used it, recommend it as from the point of view of somebody that uses it. And it's also, and I'll talk about retention here, if you follow our funnel and you appropriately do what we're talking about in this webinar, then you're going to have great retention. And retention is important, because remember, Legal Shield pays you more money when you have high retention. So for example, if you were to write 50 memberships that stay on the books, that's 100% retention. Versus if you wrote 100 memberships and half canceled, that's 50% retention. Even though the end result is the same number of active members on the books, you still end up with 50 members. Then Legal Shield pays you vastly more money on higher retention. They have trips and incentives and additional cash bonuses for people with high retention. So you don't want low retention. So you want to appropriately market the service, or sign up your recruits for the service at the right time. That's why you're using the funnel as a filter. That protects your retention. People have tried to say, okay, well, before you can start the training, you need to sign up for a membership, and kind of use it as a toll booth to move forward, further up the funnel. Well, you can do that, and you might even sell more memberships than somebody that's not doing that, but you'll have much lower retention. And retention is a key part of your business, because again, as I mentioned, I have hundreds of members that started out in my recruiting funnel that never engaged in the business. but have had their membership for 5 years, 10 years, would never cancel their membership. They love it, they use it, they recommend it to other people. They just don't engage actively in the business the way you and I would want them to. Of course, we want them to engage in the business and write lots of plans, because that's the reason we're recruiting, is to build long-term override income from a national sales force. Well, not everybody's going to engage like that. Let's take a look at the numbers here. Folks that get a membership, 60%. So again, we could take that membership step and move it to the top of the funnel before they become an agent. But then you would, listen to this, even if we just honored the numbers on the screen, that means you'd have 40% cancellations if you persuaded people unethically to purchase a membership at the top of this funnel. But if you let people complete the training, they're getting 5 hours of training on our company, our membership, Legal Shield, the history of Legal Shield and Harvard, how to use the membership effectively. And still, you're going to have people that don't sign up. They disappear. They fall off the earth. They don't return your calls. That's why we know 60% are going to purchase the plan. Maybe you can get that higher, 70%. But by putting it there in the funnel, by putting that as part of this lower part of the funnel, you're protecting your retention. You're writing business to people that will keep their membership regardless of if they engage in the opportunity. That's an interesting way to look at your business, because if you look at your business this way, it makes perfect sense that you would market a lot of high retention memberships like this. If you think about somebody in group marketing, which is also very high retention, the employee in a company gets a 15-minute overview of Legal Shield before they sign up. But your new agent just got 5 hours of information on Legal Shield before they signed up. So they have great retention when you do this appropriately. And so the next step is moving someone that's completed their training, they got their membership, they're now set up to be vested. The idea is to get them paid, to get them into the process of becoming a Legal Shield associate and writing their first sale, becoming an associate, and getting paid. And if they write a $39.90 membership, they're going to get a $60 commission on their first sale. So during this game planning process, you want to make sure that you're, of course, getting them signed up for their membership if you haven't already. Focus them in on getting their first sale done right away. Don't focus them in on their first 50 sales or 100 sales, or their first group account or any of that. We want them to write their first sale. During the training, they started thinking about all the people that they know that could use this plan. Actually, probably during the career overview in the prospect funnel, they started thinking about all the people they knew that they could market this service to. Now we want to empower them, excite them about going in and doing just that. The way to empower them is to make sure they know how to use their HRMC plan site. Walk them through setting it up, uploading a photo. All of that is in their My Account settings page. Show them their page. Encourage them to pretend to be a customer and fill out an application right on the site, and show them that it shows up in their Legal Shield membership log in their back office. And if you don't know how to do this, if you're not confident in how HRMC plans works, don't do a game plan meeting until you're confident with it. That's the whole idea, is we want to raise somebody up to a confidence where they know that they have the tool that everybody in the company uses to go out and write plans. And I always tell people during the game plan, not only do I send my HRMC plan site to people if I want them to sign up, even if I'm sitting down next to somebody. I don't print out a paper application. I don't bring out a presentation flip book. I open my laptop or my iPad or my phone, and I use my HRMC plan site to do the presentation and to sign up my customers for the plan, because it's all paperless, it's neat, it's efficient, it's modern, and it's the right way to do it. And of course, the other reason is because we're going to upload the digital documents to Legal Shield for processing. So if we're writing out on paper applications, it can be illegible, it's messy, but also it has to eventually become a digital document anyway. Better to get that person using their HRMC plan site immediately and by having them feel excited about this tool that was created and set up for them, customized, has their information on it, and it's something they can start using right away. Today, they can market a membership. Remember, you're keeping people within the straight line. They're going to want to deviate. They're going to want to get outside of these dotted lines and start talking about going and contacting groups and going out and doing all kinds of stuff, or maybe going in and studying and watching more videos on different topics. That is the human nature of it. But your job is to be the authority, to be a professional, to help them navigate and know what their goal is, which is to write their first sale, so that we can get them set up as a Legal Shield associate, get them their first belief check, paid as an associate on their first membership sale. That is going to be the kind of thing that really impacts their business, to get that first sale done. Listen, they're going to remember their first sale, and you want to acknowledge that milestone, but you have to help them get there. Keep in mind, you can push too hard. So be a professional, listen to what people are saying, and if you need the help of your executive director or other people in your team that are part of your support team, bring them in at this stage. Bring them in as a welcome to the team call, or an additional voice that can help with a strategy to launch their business. If someone is stalling out and they're not moving forward and becoming an associate, it's okay to bring other folks in on that. Remember this, that not everybody's going to become an associate. Only 40% of the people that you get into this funnel are going to make their first sale. And that's okay. That's part of our process. Now, we'd love it to be 100%, but that's not how this works. People decide for themselves that it's not the right time, it's not the right opportunity. But remember, you are managing your cash flow and getting the membership to people regardless of whether or not they're going to move forward in the opportunity. That means that you're earning money every single day from your business, and 40% will get started. That's the good news. About 40% of our agents, when you're following the system and staying true to it, will get into production. Now, 40% of your agents are not going to be top producers. That's going to be a much smaller number. But as you continue to build your team, top producers will emerge in your business. And that kind of takes me to your associate funnel. And remember, we were talking about time management. You're going to spend only 5% of your available time in your associate funnel. These are people that have written their first sale, Fast Start qualified. Why is it possible for you to spend so little time in the associate funnel? Because now we're getting people paid. They're engaged in our business. They're on our conference calls. As long as they're plugged into our systems, you have the ability to lean on the entire company telling and motivating your team to reach for the next level. One of the greatest things has been the level up bonuses, because it inspires people and motivates them to keep moving quickly. You know, they got Fast Start qualified and they earned a $180 Fast Start bonus on top of their commission for doing that, and it starts a new clock for an additional $300. So over the next 30 days, they're motivated to collect that $300 bonus along with more commission. So as you can see, it's very easy to spend all of your time with your 1 or 2 or 3 associates and spend 80% of your available recruiting time managing them and congratulating them. But what happens is, when you do that, you never know if somebody's going to slow down or stop. You never know if someone's going to run into an issue where they have a family emergency or just their circumstances change. And they're not all going to become top producers, consistently producing. They're not all going to be consistently anything. So you have to manage your time by spending 80% of your time with the right people. And that 80% is the time in that first funnel. And let's talk about that in review. First, motivate people, don't manage them. Lock them into Performance Club. Get people Performance Club qualifying. That makes it even easier to spend less time in the associate funnel. Use recognition to reinforce the correct activity and results. I love our HRMC plaque program. Order plaques for every level up in the compensation plan. Picture all of your producers with these plaques all over their walls, and you're the one that sent those plaques to them. It's exciting, it's good for them, and it's great for you and your business. You can really take a look at your business and know how you're doing based on how many plaques are being shipped out to people in your team every day as people are leveling up. So motivate, don't manage. Use recognition. Lock them into Performance Club. Spend 80% of your time recruiting, 15% of your time getting your agents through the training and getting them their membership, 5% of your time working with existing associates. Remember, the existing associates also have hundreds of support staff members at Legal Shield headquarters that can help them, that can answer questions. Now, we don't abandon people or not return their calls. That's not what I'm talking about. When somebody calls me, I call them back. But really, if you think about it, a lot of times we're just dumping all of our time and energy on one or two associates and managing them and really distracting them from doing what they should be doing. Let's look at it like this. Let's say you have 10 hours a week to build your business. I'm just going to wrap up with a couple more thoughts here for you. If you have 10 hours a week to build your business, you should be spending 8 hours in the recruiting funnel, an hour and a half, 90 minutes with those agents that are going through training, half an hour motivating your associates, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours. You might say, well, how can I in half an hour motivate my team? Well, if you only have half an hour a week to work with your existing associates, that means that you're helping people become independent, not dependent on you. When someone has a question, you take 15 minutes to show them where the answer is, instead of just 15 minutes finding the answer for them and then giving it to them. You use text messages and emails. You plug people into our conference calls so that they're part of the system. And then you don't need as much time in that associate or motivation funnel. Even as a 40-hour per week full-time recruiter, you would spend only 2 hours a week with your existing associates. That's just enough time. That's 8 hours a month. That's exactly what you need to call and personally recognize all of your Performance Club qualifiers over the phone, to send motivating and congratulations text messages, to ship out plaques. That's all the time you need. Spend the time where it will produce income and revenue for you, and that is in the first funnel. Remember, membership sales represent your daily cash flow right now. Team overrides are the future of your business. What your team is producing in sales. Yes, some people will finish training and they'll fast start qualifying in 48 hours, and that's great. But the overrides of your business, having a business that produces 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 memberships a month, that is the future of your business. Overrides and duplication are going to give you financial freedom, but that does not happen immediately. That's why I spent so much time on this webinar talking about running a business, not acting like a sales manager, being responsible for money in the register every day. Next, don't slow down your personal recruiting and membership sales to those recruits until your team is qualifying you for executive director by the 15th of the month consistently. I see so many people get to the point where their team is starting to take off, and the first thing they do is slow down. They stop spending 80% of their time recruiting, and they start managing their team. You have to stay true to time management. Don't slow down what you're doing personally because it works. That's what a lot of folks do. They're doing something that works, and so it works, they stop doing it. Never do that. You have something that's working. Keep pushing. Stay focused. Once your team is qualifying you without your personal sales, so if you looked at your personal sales for the month, 10, 20, 30, 40 personal sales, and you said, okay, even without those sales, I would have been ED up by the 15th. Now you know that you have a business that does not require your daily activity in the same volume and the same attention that you have right now. Believe me, over time, you're not going to have to put in the same amount of effort and recruiting on the front end. I hope you do. I think people don't stay in phase one recruiting long enough. Let's just talk in conclusion about a six-figure income versus a six-figure lifestyle. Okay? So when I'm talking about the business of selling plans over the phone, you can use legal plan leads, small business sales can be done over the phone. What I mean there is selling the small business plan to business owners. You could do that over the phone and over the internet. And recruiting agents. Those are really the three big things you could do over the phone without actually going out into the marketplace, physically, personally going out and marketing the service. You could make money over the phone those three ways. So let's look at this. Legal plan leads. Well, first of all, I don't recommend these because they're expensive. Even at $6 or $7 a lead, they're expensive and they have a very high cancellation rate. Remember I said Legal Shield feels very strongly there is a difference between writing 100 plans and having 100 stay on the books versus writing 50 plans and having 50 stay on the books at 100% retention versus writing 100 and having 50 of them cancel and then 50 stay on the books. That's 50% retention. Even though the end result is the same amount of active members, that is a big difference in your book of business. It affects many, many things. As a matter of fact, it's the kind of thing that Legal Shield would be very, very concerned about and would contact you about. So you don't want cancellations. And legal plan leads cancel because these are people with very little money and they have an immediate emergency legal need that they're trying to resolve. There's no residual because they cancel, and you have no leverage. Unless you built out a call center and had people on the phones calling these leads, you never have leverage. You have to keep making those sales yourself. If you're calling businesses to market the small business legal plan, that's great, but there's going to be a lot of rejection. The leads are free because you can use Reference USA. There's a lot of delays and a lot of rescheduling. There is no leverage. You don't have a team. If you're doing it by yourself, you have no leverage, but you do have great residuals. And for some of you, maybe that's a better thing because you're just more transactional in nature. You want to just call somebody, do a presentation over the phone, follow up with them, sell them a plan, and you don't want to have a team. That's okay too. But you're probably not going to get a six-figure lifestyle that way. But look at recruiting agents. There's virtually no rejection. I mean, if people aren't interested, they're not interested. They don't hang up on you. They're not rude to you. Some will be, but it'll be very, very minor. I mean, it's virtually none of that. Folks do say they're not interested, but they're usually nice about it. It moves quickly. Somebody that is excited when they see the career overview, usually within 48 hours has completed the agent training and is purchasing a membership. That means you could direct somebody to the overview on Monday and market them a membership on Wednesday. And if you start getting a pipeline in that 80% first funnel, the recruiting funnel, if you get a pipeline of those folks always coming through, you will always have people moving quickly to the membership phase, being positioning you with daily cash flow. There's great residuals. We talked about this. These people, even if they don't engage in the membership, marketing the membership long term, maybe they do it a little bit and then they don't. They're hot and they're cold on the opportunity. They're not motivated or structured enough to be consistent with that. Even those people keep their membership because of the way it was marketed to them. Leverage. Well, leverage and duplication is because people do engage in the business. So a percentage of people are going to stick around with it. People become 50 a month, 100 a month consistent producers. That's the whole reason Harvard Risk Management exists. But you have to understand it's the minority of your recruits. To get to a team of people that are throwing off to you an override income of $100,000 a year is going to require you to move through a large group of people. But the great news is that you get to cash flow all of that process, that you're going to be cash flowing a tremendous amount of membership sales on your way to finding the people that will actually go out there and produce. And of course, duplication and leverage means that over time, you can work less and less and have your income grow more and more because the people that you're recruiting are marketing the service, building their own teams, and that is advantageous to you because you're always positioned as someone that can earn overrides on all of the production of that organization. In conclusion, as I started this blueprint, we want to talk about time management, lead management, and cash flow management. And I would print out this last page and say to yourself, where am I in managing these three things effectively? How is my business when I look at it through the lens of these three areas of concern and focus? How structured am I? Am I managing my leads effectively, or am I just buying more leads and hoping, as if it was lottery numbers, hoping that producers show up? Am I managing my time effectively? Am I spending the right amount of time in the right funnels? Am I doing the right thing with the time I have available? Whether that's 10 hours a week or 100 hours, what matters most is that that time that you have is split up appropriately for your business. And lastly, and most importantly, cash flow management. Am I going to stay in business on a daily basis? Am I going to have a daily predictable income from my business, even without the overrides from my team, because I know that the overrides, the meaningful big money overrides, are going to come later. They're not going to come instantly because it's not a lottery ticket. It's an agency. I'm building a massive nationwide distribution model. And to build that, because it's ethical and sound and real, it's going to take effort and time. To build passive income is not automatic, and it's going to take time to do that. But I don't have to have a negative cash flow in the meantime. I can be positive cash flow from day one virtually, earning a six-figure income by positioning my leads and my time and keeping an eye on my cash flow. So hopefully all of this was helpful for you. As we are concluding, I'm noticing that we're nearing a full hour, and that probably means that I over-explained some things and under-explained some others. So don't hesitate to reach out to me, and we can have one-on-one conversations about how to structure your business and the fundamentals of your business so that you are managing your leads, your cash, and your time most effectively. Thank you.